Good morning, guys. I'm Gates with the HSCG, and I am here in the vendor area, and I'm with Wayne and Gifty Dunn of Baraka Shea Butter. So let me turn this camera around. I'm going to introduce you to Wayne and Gifty, and they're going to tell you about their amazing product and some of the specials for the conference attendees and then for the guild members in general. So this is Wayne and Gifty Dunn. They are the proud owners of Baraka Shea Butter. And can you tell us a little bit about your product and your business and how you feel about the social importance that you guys provide?
Well, yes, for sure. Baraka Shea Butter works with a collective of women in northern Ghana, which is my home. I was born and raised there. And we've tried to create work for the women and the community, but the women in particular, because they really inspired this work. And so they get together, they make the best shea butter on the market, and we have told them, give us good quality shea butter and we will do the work in North America to help create the work for you. And that's essentially what we're doing with our business.
Well, I think one of the things that Wayne was telling me yesterday was that everyone says their shea butter is all natural, yes, or organic, but yours really is hand sourced, and you don't go to any big factories. This stays within the communities where it's initially harvested and then produced, and then it goes right to you guys, and the women are involved from start to finish.
Exactly, that's it. Like I said, it's inspired by the women from the beginning to the very end. It's all done right in the community. It's all handcrafted using traditional methods. I mean, lessons that have been passed on from generation to generation, continues to be, and is being passed on to the next generation. So that's very exciting to see traditional knowledge actually being expanded into the international
and then used in such a modern product. Well, not a modern product, but in a modern industry, using traditional methods.
Exactly. It's actually being used in chocolate manufacturing in Europe. So it's wonderful to see the women connected to that. In fact, a lot of them are amazed that the work that they do is now being appreciated. It used to be that they were left out of everything, and now they're part of the global system.
And it lifts them up not just financially, but emotionally.
Emotionally, they feel they're part of this world. You know, Wayne is in Ghana often, and usually he'll bring back feedback from our customers and share with the women, and they're really happy. They're happy to hear that people are enjoying their shea butter and appreciating it, and appreciating the work that goes into it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to pan the table really quick, and then I'm going to show that you guys have an amazing graphic that shows the process. So we'll take a quick look at that.
Wonderful.
So here's the table. Wayne was showing me yesterday. These are the original shea nuts, shea seeds.
And every bit of shea butter goes from their hands to our customers' hands.
And it's just the look of everything is beautiful, and the quality. Every time I walk by Wayne, he's like, here, let me make your hands happy, because they've got some shea butter here that people can try out for you. So let's take a look at this graphic here. And Wayne, can you tell us a little bit about the actual product and how it's harvested and then worked with?
Sure. And I just want to reiterate what Gifty said about the women and how they're part of it. And if anybody wants to hear what the women have to say, we've got a lot of videos where they speak in their own voice on our website. So we don't pretend to speak for them, but they love to get the feedback. When people leave feedback on Facebook, on Google, and talk about the quality of the product, we can't take credit for it. It's the work the women do, and we always share that with them, and they love it. So I would invite anybody who's interested, don't take our word, go there, see what others say, and if you have a message for the women, leave it there. We'd be happy to share it with them. But shea butter, shea trees grow wild in the savanna of West Africa, and they regenerate naturally. There's miles and miles, hundreds of miles of them, and they fruit. The shea comes from a fruit. They call it the shea nut, but it's really the seed inside a fruit. It's a small green fruit about that big around, and it's in season right now. The fruit is growing. The children love it. This time of the year, you see children all over the roadside selling shea fruit. And
that's cool.
And it's got this it's a dry, sweet sort of taste, but there's only about this much fruit, and then the shell inside is big like this. It falls. The women pick the shell. they get maybe, they figure 10 to 15%, the rest is left to regenerate and naturally. And then they boil it, they parboil it, and that sterilizes the seed so it doesn't germinate. And then they dry it so that shell can be cracked. And it's like a peach. You know how a peach has the pit inside, and if you crack it, the seed's inside? Same thing, except it's round. So they crack it, and then that seed is dried. And that's really important, that it get dried to the right moisture content, or else you don't get good shea butter. So that's one of the key points of managing quality. And then the seed is packaged in bags. And what a lot of people don't know, people know the difference between refined and unrefined shea butter. Refined is bleached with hexane, and it takes all the color and odor out, and some like it. I personally think that it takes a lot of the quality and natural quality out of it too. But so you've got refined and unrefined. What people don't know is most of what's called raw and unrefined. It's called raw and unrefined because it's not refined, it's not bleached. But if you come over here, 85% of raw and unrefined shea butter is actually made in factories like this. I took this picture 2 months ago in a shea butter factory. It's industrially processed, and it's extracted with chemicals, and about 15% is handmade. But it's not just about the quality, it's not just about the fact that this beautiful shea butter that people like, 85% of what they get is industrial and chemically extracted. When they do that, all of this part of the economy is ripped from the village and sent to the factory. This is the last the local economy sees of the shea butter, is in these bags. It gets shipped to the factory. So if people
And that's with the majority of shea butter that's out there,
comes
not
from.
Baraka, obviously.
No, but people, I really encourage people to find out if their shea butter, if raw and unrefined, is also chemically extracted. So find out if it's handcrafted or made in factories, because that's important. It only stands to reason that more of the natural properties and goodness of shea butter is going to come through if it's not processed with chemicals.
Right.
So how it's made, and I'll go quickly. So these nuts go, we set up women's enterprise centers, and we have a grinder in them. So the nuts go into the grinder, it comes out in a coarse grind, and then it's roasted. And we supply the roasters so that they don't have to stand over the fire and stir it. And it's roasted to just the right amount so that
it's it's almost like a coffee roaster where they rotate it.
It is after the seed is ground, and then they bring it back to the grinder. And this is the amazing part. This dry, mealy, coarse ground stuff goes into the grinder, and it comes out this viscous, it's almost like molten chocolate, same sort of color. And then the women take that and they start adding water to it, kneading the water into it, and when they get to the right consistency, they start whipping it by hand, and eventually the oils coagulate on the top, they float on top, and the water and the solids are on the bottom. That is brought, and this is where it's finished, and this is another real critical quality step in the shea butter, is it has to be processed enough to get rid of the water, or else it's going to go rancid fast. It will look fine, but only for a little while. It'll start to smell, it'll start to get slimy. And when they're doing it, if anybody's made homemade jam, you have the same thing. When you make homemade jam, the impurities come to the top and you skim them off. The same thing here. The impurities come to the top and they're skimmed off, and they're actually used to make black soap. But that's another story. And come to my Facebook page and you'll see the story of black soap. It's ready to post next week. So this is so important for quality. And one of the things we do, aside from working with the community and supporting education, supporting conservation projects, we pay the women about 10% above market for their shea butter, partly because we demand a lot here. We demand quality. So they know that they take the time to do it right, because after that it's strained and it solidifies, and it's this beautiful yellow color, and over time it goes from yellow and it gets whiter. And then we hand package it. Every one is hand packaged. It's inspected as it's packaged. And the handprint of the woman who made it is on the top of the shea butter.
That to me is worth every penny, because it shows that this was made with love from start to finish.
It's from their hands to yours. The other thing we do is we put their producer number on it. Every woman that works with us, it goes through training. They have a producer number. So if we have an issue with quality on it, we get a picture of it. We ask the customer. We never ask questions. I mean, nobody's perfect. Our shea butter isn't perfect. I don't make that claim at all. So if we have any quality problem, I ask for a picture, and I ask for a picture of the producer number. Then we replace it, refund the money or whatever. And then that goes back, and not to punish the women, but to educate them. Say, see, this shea butter you made, this is what happened. It cost us money. If we have that, our customers aren't satisfied, we lose business, and we can't buy as much from
So
them.
it's GMP, and what you're doing is helping teach them at the very start of the process to improve everything, to make a better product for everyone.
To make it better. The other innovation that we do, my background is in sustainability and corporate social responsibility. And we're small, we don't have a lot of money, and we can't afford to go and change the world. But we do want to make an impact and make a difference. So what we do, our customers value the community impact, the impact that their purchases from us have, and we make that available, that information in videos and pictures and stories. We make that available to our customers, who then use that in their own marketing, because their customers are interested in the
social impact that you guys are making.
And by doing that, we're actually able to, as we create value in the community for the women in the communities, we're able to capture that value in a way that benefits our business and benefits our customers' business and allows us to do more. So it creates that virtuous circle.
Absolutely, that's amazing.
I mean, we're not saints, we're not changing the world, but I'm trying to use social impact as a business strategy to create a competitive advantage so we can have more impact and have a better business.
I think that's wonderful. Now, HSCG members in general get
10%, they get a 10% discount. There's a code on the website, and it's in the newsletter every month, or
Perfect.
every month that we remember to put it in.
because nobody's perfect. And also
at the show, there's a $25 off coupon. So anybody who uses that can order, and if you don't have the code and you weren't at the show, and promise you'll come next year and email me, I'll give it to you so you can get the $25.
That's fantastic. Listen, guys, I really appreciate you being here. And you guys are talking this afternoon?
Yes,
We are, and we're going to tell the whole story about shea butter, and the community story, the social story. Shea butter is this amazing product, but it's also part of a community and a culture and the economy and the family, and everything is woven in. And we've really tried to approach the business that keeps that all woven in.
That's
In
awesome.
fact, Gifty would have it no other way.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Well, I'm going to flip this camera. I want to thank you guys so much. That was incredible. And your product is amazing. My hands are always happy every time I walk by your booth. So I'm going to head off to another vendor at some point, and we'll talk to you guys soon.